Well, hello. I'm sitting on my floor. Guess what this means? We're about to jump into this thing right here, and we're about to do a declutter. Spring cleaning declutter. I'm excited. I hope you guys are excited too. If you are, give this video a thumbs up, and let's jump into it. Okay, so I have this here, and this is where I keep my eyeshadow palettes. It's not near full. I actually just got this, but I'm gonna go ahead and start on this top shelf here, and we're gonna go one by one through these palettes. If there is a palette that I have pictures of me wearing or I have swatches of, I will be showing you those as well, just to help you guys out. And I have paper towels here, just in case I decide I wanna swatch. So the first one here is going to be the Odin's Eye Floor Story palette. This is with Makeup Just for Fun, and this is what that palette looks like. I've only created one look with this palette, but I do want to get into it. it hasn't really called to me. I don't know why, but I am going to keep that one. This next one is going to be the KVD Moon Garden eyeshadow palette, and I love the artwork on the front of this. And this is the color story of the inside. And you guys, I really do like this color story. The problem is the shimmers in this are just not, they're not as shiny as I would like, but I do like them. I just have to be in the mood to wear those. I have to be in the mood for a more subtle look. And even this like Dark Side Tide, while it looks like this beautiful blue, this is, wow, what a horrible swatch. This is how that is actually swatching. So it's not as shiny and pretty as you would think. It's a more subtle palette, but I do like it. I think I am gonna go ahead and keep it. I've only done one look with this palette. This next one is going to be the Glamelight Frosted Flakes palette, and this is what that looks like. I love this. I've been loving the blue tone looks. You guys, this is a gorgeous palette, and I really like this formula of Glamelight. I have this one and another palette that I do like, and they do stay on my eyes pretty well, so I'm going to keep that one. The Rude Cosmetics Freshly Cut Flower Child. This is what that looks like. This is newer to me, so I am going to keep this one. I have been using this one only as like picking and choosing a few shades out of it, and not necessarily using it to create a whole look, but I have been enjoying it. A ColourPop Avatar The Last Airbender, and this is what that one looks like. And I used this one to create a blue look recently. I'll have that video linked below, and I did like that one. I haven't really reached for this since then. Maybe I'll reach for it more once I do a declutter, but this is kind of going to be on a chopping block. If I don't use this before my next declutter, this is going to go. The ColourPop Wild Nothing palette, this is what it looks like. This is a gorgeous palette, and I kept it because I absolutely love these neutrals, but I have not used it since we moved here, so this is going to be a declutter. The Nabla Side by Side Nude palette, this is what that one looks like. I did use this quite a bit when we first moved here, but I haven't used it recently. I really do like the shimmers in this. I think I'm going to keep this one for now. The ColourPop Daisy Does It, this is what that one looks like, and I have not used this since we moved here, so this one is going to be a declutter. This would be a beautiful springtime palette. I just don't reach for this. I have other ones that I've been reaching for over this one, so that can go. The Too Faced Christmas in Los Angeles. If you guys have followed me since South Carolina, you know this was a staple palette for me. I kept it on my desk and always used this or this brown in almost every single look I made. However, I have not reached for this palette since I have moved here. Oh wait, I did. I used this You'll by the Pool in the blue eyeshadow look. But I think I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this one. I think I can let this one go. The Too Faced Christmas in the Alps. This is what it looks like. I've not used this since I moved up here. However, I am kind of getting back more into pinky tones, so I am going to keep this one. The Too Faced Christmas in Sydney. You guys, I was going to declutter this, but these shades here are beautiful and I love creating a look with these shades. They're just so pretty. There, I don't know if you can see them, but they're very pretty and they're very shiny. The problem is I don't really reach for this palette as a whole, so I think I'm actually going to get rid of this one again, because this wasn't my last declutter, but I like took it out of my declutter. Then we have the Too Faced Christmas in London. This is what that one looks like. It's a nice kind of purple leaning palette, but I don't reach for this one and I've not used any of these blushes here. So I'm actually gonna go ahead and declutter that one as well. The ColourPop Stone Cold Fox palette. This one was new to me around the Christmas season. I got this and I've only used it to create one look. So I think I've reached into that shade and that shade and that shade. And that's it. I haven't even used any of the shimmers in this one, so I'm gonna go ahead and keep that one. The Ace Beauté a Floral Vintage. This is what that palette looks like. And I have been trying this out and I do like it. I don't like that it doesn't have a lot of shimmers in it. You just have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shimmers, and then these rest are matte, which I have been appreciating a matte look. I'm gonna say I'm gonna keep this one for now. Oh my gosh, the Pat McGrath. This is the Mothership Celestial Nirvana. This was the Christmas palette for this past year. This shade did come broken. That doesn't bother me. I don't understand the hype behind this. I'm gonna keep this because I've only done one look with this palette, but I don't understand the hype with these shadows. I just don't. So off the top shelf, I am decluttering 5 palettes. That's not so bad. Quick spring declutter, right? All right, so on the bottom shelf here, I have the One Fish, Two Fish, Red Fish, Blue Fish palette. This one got dropped and shattered, and this is a brand new palette to me. You guys, I love this palette. I just love this palette, and I'm really disappointed that this shade got shattered, but this is gonna be a keep. The Revolution and Grinch. I just got this past Christmas. I love these shades. I love this formula. This is gonna be a keep. The Lottie London Emerald Euphoria. I got this for Christmas for my husband. This was a very surprisingly good palette, so this one is going to be a keep. The She Glam Enchanted Deco Dance palette. This is what that one looks like. I do have pan on this shade here. It was in my project Level Up. I do love this palette and I love the color story of it. It's a very unique color story, so this one's gonna be a keep. The number 7, and this was just their limited edition palette. It doesn't really have a name. I do like this for just a quick look. Mostly I use this shade in the crease and then I'll throw a shimmer on for another one. So this one is going to be a keep. The ColourPop Hocus Pocus Witching Hour palette. This is what it looks like. I'm gonna declutter this one. If you guys saw my ranking palettes, then you know that I don't even remember the look that I created with this recently, so it's an unmemorable palette. It's going to be decluttered. The ColourPop All Amethyst palette I haven't used since we got up here, but I'm kind of getting back into purples, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and keep that one. The ColourPop Glow Getter palette. This is more of a summertime palette for me. I haven't used it since I got up here, but I am going to go ahead and keep this. I do love this palette, and I've used the heck out of these 2 shades and this shade and this shade. It's just a very pretty palette. So keep that one. The NARS Summer Unrated palette. I know everybody raved about this, and I have quite a few NARS palettes. You guys, I've only used this to create one look, and it wasn't a very memorable look. I like NARS shadows enough that I have multiple palettes of them, but I think I'm going to go ahead and declutter this palette. The ColourPop Plush Like Me palette. I think I'm gonna keep this one. I'm getting more, now that my hair is darker, I'm getting more into these darker tones. So I think I'm gonna keep that one. The Charlie's Angels and Flower Beauty palette. This is what that one looks like. I keep this one solely for angel eyes. It is this absolutely just beautiful shade that I can't get enough of. So I am 110% going to keep that one. This is the MAC and Stranger Things palette, and this is what it looks like. This actually really surprised me. I really do like this palette, and I like the color story in it, and it's really good quality. So this is going to be a keep. This is the NARS Euphoria palette, and this is what that looks like. These are 3 highlighters down here and then some neutral shades up there. I like this palette. This is a NARS palette I do reach for quite a bit, so I'm going to keep that one. The NARS Bijou. This again is another palette that everybody raved about for NARS, not this past Christmas, but the Christmas before. And I like it, but it's not a love of mine. So I'm gonna keep it, but this one again is gonna be on the chopping block. If I do not use it before my next declutter, this will be going then. This is the NARS Inferno, and this is what that looks like. This does have 3 pressed glitters in it, so I never really reach for this one because the pressed glitters are the shades that I would really be interested in using, but I'm not a pressed glitter type of person with me wearing contacts, so this is going to be a declutter. This is the Tarte Tartelette in Bloom, and I actually used up this shade, and this shade in one of my palettes like this, and then I bought another one, and I have not used this. Like, I've used this shade and this shade, but I haven't really touched this since I bought it, and I've had it in my collection for over a year, so this it's time to say goodbye to. This is the Tartelette Toasted palette, and I've used this shade here, and I think I've swatched a couple of shades in here, but I don't reach for this one. I bought this at the same time that I bought the Tartelette in Bloom, and I don't reach for these palettes, so this one's going to go as well. The Essence Welcome to London palette, this is what that looks like. It is a very pretty palette. I don't reach for this. I don't reach for this, so this is going to be a declutter. The Essence Buenavita Aroma, and this is what that looks like, and I really like this, and I like the quality of this and this palette as well. I just don't reach for these because I have these shades and palettes that I reach for quite a lot more, so I'm going to go ahead and declutter this one as well. But this is a really good quality palette, and I have no complaints about it. This is the BH Cosmetics Love in London palette, and I really like this palette, but you guys, I'm right now panning the BH Hanging in Hawaii palette, and the formula on that one has changed so much, and I got this one about the same time. It is the older travel series of BH Cosmetics that does have the mirror, so I'm going to go ahead and declutter this one just because it's old. I think it's finally time to say goodbye to my IBY Wonderland palette. I have kept this one because the shimmers are very, I don't want to say special because they're not like special, but they're ones that you can have like the subtle satin look, or you can build it to kind of have that more shiny metallic look, and I did appreciate that, but I never reached for this palette. So this one is going to be a declutter as well. This is the Sugar Drizzle Hyper Nova palette, and this is relatively new to me, but I was pretty disappointed in this shade right here, but I haven't really given the rest of it a go, so I am going to go ahead and keep this palette. This is the Lacura Nectar palette, and this is what it looks like. This one here I appreciate more than the intense one that I am currently, I believe it's in my Project Level Up, using. This one is definitely, the shimmers are a lot more punchy than the other one. So I I do appreciate that. They are crumbly, but I do like this. Like, look how shiny that is. It's really good formula, at least in this nectar one. So I'm gonna keep this one. This is the Lacura Smoky, and this is what it looks like. I love the color story in this one. The shimmers in this aren't my favorites, but it does have this great row of mattes and dog hair in it, but it has this great row of mattes here that I really do like. So I'm gonna keep that one. The Glamlight and Scooby-Doo, this is the other one that I really like the formula of, and they do tend to stay really well in my eyes. And I love the greens in this, and I love the blues, so this is going to be a keep for me. The Beauty Bay Wilderness palette, this is what that one looks like, and of course I'm going to keep this one. We all know I love my greens, so this one's a keep. The Melt Amore Mariposa, this is what that one looks like, and of course I am going to keep this one. I love this color story. I have no complaints about it. The formula is great, the shimmers are great. It's just a good palette, so definitely keeping that one. This is the NYX Tiger Energy palette. They came out with this for 2022, and I actually just used this red yesterday, and this still performs beautifully. I still love this color story, and I can't wait to use it some more, especially this Fierce Feline in the summertime. It's just this beautiful orange color, you guys. I like this palette. I really like the quality. I really like the colors. Keep. We have the ABH Subculture palette, and I've kept this because I do like the color story, and I do like the shades. And this is just a beautiful color story, but the thing is, I don't reach for this palette, like, ever. I just don't. I think it's time I declutter this. Ouch. This is the ABH Riviera palette, and I know I'm probably really in the minority on this one, but I actually like this palette. I like the color story. I love this bright pink here. I love this Coastline Estate is just a beautiful all over the lid shade. I just recently used this, I believe, in my recent vlog that I did, and I love this. The only complaint I have about this is I wish I had a lighter shimmer up here, but this is really good quality, and I'm keeping it. So there's that. The Too Faced Sweet Peach palette, I never reach for this, ever. I think I'm gonna declutter it. You guys, I think I'm gonna declutter it. Oh, wow. Okay, this is the Kat Von D or KVD Lolita Pura Vida palette. This is what that looks like. And I love this Luna shade and this Duelis Signos, I think that's how you say it, I'm not sure. I love those shades. It's a very pretty palette. And here I go swatching them. They're just the most metallic shades I've ever encountered. And I have indie shadows, and they're more almost a gel, like a mousse. It doesn't feel like a powder, like a Super Shock shadow almost. It's just got that smooth texture, and I love those shades. I think I'm going to put this on the chopping block though. If I don't reach for this palette by the next time, I'm going to declutter it. There, I said it. This is the Makeup Revolution, the Matrix palette, and this is what that looks like. I like the color story of this one. I really do. I think it's a gorgeous color story, and it's good quality. Oh, it's really pretty. I'm gonna say I'm gonna keep this one as well. I have not reached for this since we moved here, but I have been getting a couple of new palettes, so I think I'm going to keep this one and just see if I reach for it before my end of year declutter. This is my ColourPop and Harry Potter palette, and I'm keeping this one. I love the color story in it, and I like Harry Potter, so keeping this one. This is the Morphe 35 XS, and this is what it looks like. I've used the crap out of this. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I've really used this to death. I love the way they have it set up. I love that you can just do rose if you want. You can do shimmers. This is a good travel palette. I usually take this with me when I'm traveling, so this is going to be a keep as well. Last but not least, or at least my last palette in here, is going to be my Nomad Haunted Europe palette, and this is what that looks like, and I'm going to keep this. I still like this color story and I still reach for it. I used this shade yesterday, which this Highgate Cemetery is the green that I used with the NYX palette because I was trying them out and I really liked it. So I'm going to keep this one as well. Plus, I mean, it's got that great cover on it too. So from here, I am decluttering. We've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So I'm decluttering 16 palettes from my bookshelf here. Let me go ahead and rearrange them back on there and I will show you what it looks like. Okay, so this is what I got for palettes in my bookshelf. All right, let's move over to my smaller palettes in the drawer. Okay, so next I'm going to be going through this drawer here that I keep in this unit here. I don't know how to show this to you other than just hold them up. So here we go. The first one is going to be the Go-Go Tales Cotton Candy palette. And this is what that looks like. And it didn't hold up the best on my eyes, but it's new and I'm still trying it. So I'm going to keep that one. The BH Cosmetics Mykonos palette, I'm going to go ahead and declutter. I did not exactly enjoy this formula. The ColourPop Citrus Fizz right here, I'm going to go ahead and declutter. I never reached for that. The Wet n Wild Color Icon, and I believe this is Call Me Sunshine. I'm going to go ahead and declutter. I never reached for that. The She Glam Chromosome. This is the Time Warp palette. This is what that looks like. I am going to keep. I love this color story and very good quality. The Profusion Metachrome. This is what that looks like. I am going to keep this. I'm still playing around with it. As you can see, it's very dirty. The shadow is very dusty, but I do like this, so I am going to keep this for now. I have another NARS palette. This is the Wild Thing palette, and this is what it looks like. It has a blush, a highlighter, and 4 eyeshadows. I do really like this, and I like the fact that this blush right here is actually the Goddess Complex. It is not an orgasm, and it's a very pretty color, so I'm going to go ahead and keep that. This is the NARS Claudette Saint Germain de Presse palette. I like this. I like the shades in it. These shades right here are really, really pretty, so I'm going to keep that one. The NARS Summer Solstice palette, and this is what that looks like. I'm going to keep. I love these shades. Great for summer. The Marc Jacobs Stiletto, this is what that looks like. I do have Pan in the shade right here. I'm going to go ahead and declutter this. This palette is very old. I actually decluttered this in South Carolina before I moved, and then I brought it with me. Oops. This is the NARS Climax palette, and this is what that looks like. Of course, love the tones, right? We all know I love these tones. This is the Wet n Wild Color Icon Walking on Eggshells palette. This is what it looks like. Obviously, I've gotten some good use on it, but I'm going to go ahead and declutter that one. This is the Essence Don't Stop Believing In. I really like this for a single look in a shadow. I mean, it literally is a look in a shadow, and I did enjoy using this, so I'm going to go ahead and keep that. The Too Faced Christmas Coffee palette. This is what that looks like. I really enjoy this palette. I am going to go ahead and keep it. This is the Urban Decay Foxy palette. This is what that looks like. I haven't used this since we moved, but I did take it out of the declutter pile because it is an easy look in a palette. I am going to keep this, but I'm going to put it on that chopping block where if I don't use this before my end of year declutter, I'm going to declutter that one. the Urban Decay 3 Naked Mini. This is what that looks like. And I'm really getting back into pink tones and like mauve tones, so I'm going to go ahead and keep that. And then I have my Viseart. This is the Paris Etoile that I love. Keep. This is the London that of course I love and I'm keeping. And then this one is a San Francisco. I have not used this one yet, but I mean, we know I love that color story, right? This is the Tarte Rainforest Temptations palette, you guys. I love this palette. I just don't reach for it, so I need to reach for it more, and I'm gonna do that. And let's see here. I do have the Tom Ford, what is this? The Leopard Sun down here, and I've not used this, but I've swatched it. I'm planning on using it. We'll see if I like it. Okay, so I am getting rid of 2001 eyeshadow palettes here. I don't know what that will do to my inventory numbers. I guess we'll find out at the end of the year when I do that. But I hope you guys enjoyed this peek into my eyeshadow palette collection as well as a quick spring declutter. If you guys are doing declutters, let me know down below. I love watching them, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!